What's the craziest recent moment you've had, Lukey, on Discord? Tell me the most wackiest experience you've had.
I mean, the wackiest is kind of hard to choose, but recently I was like debating it was some rotard, a Jonas follower type of guy that he was being unhinged about. He was saying that since the cooking creates some creatinine in meat, that means it's poisonous for the kidneys. Therefore, raw meat is superior because there are no waste products in it from cooking. And it was like it was such reduction. And the guy he would hold on to this like mad, by the way, because if you apply the consequences of his reasoning to other things, it just shows that it makes no sense.
But, it's again reductionist on one in order to push a narrative, but it makes no logical sense when you actually take it to the nth degree. That's right. Yeah. Look, go ahead. Sorry.
It's so sad, really, because cooking degrades like some protein, some amino acids, and may create some waste products, but the bulk of the waste products come from protein metabolism. It doesn't matter if it's cooked or raw.
Precisely. That's exactly it. I was just going to say that is exactly it. You know, at the end of the day, the reason why do we masticate stuff or chew it in our mouths? It's to basically pre-digest it, break it down. When you cook something, it's actually easier to digest and you can actually consume more. So you can get more protein, and more protein means you can actually get more for your body, for your organs, because they need protein to grow, for your musculoskeletal structure, for your enzymes production. And also some of these amino acids also play a role in terms of antioxidant pathways and detoxification pathways. So, you know, we need protein for more than just muscles. You know, this is the problem that people don't understand, that it furnishes far more things in the body than just material for muscles. You know, oh yeah, that's right, bones are made of chalk. Unless they're vegan bones.
Oh god. It's fantastic.
But pretty much, you know, this is the nonsense that we constantly hear. All metabolism creates waste products. That is why we've got kidneys to filter stuff. That is why we've got livers to detoxify stuff. And that is why we've got intracellular antioxidant systems to clear up the oxidative stress. As long as it's in a very low level, because we're not highly glycating or not putting in seed oils, which are highly oxidized, a whole lot of our aldehydes are like excessive amounts beyond the physiological limits of our enzymatic systems, our detox systems to deal with, that's when we get into trouble. You know, otherwise we don't. The small amount that maybe, you know, yes, you increase slightly, but the difference is you're also acquiring more nutrients compared to eating raw meat. That's the advantage. You know?
Yep.
So, you know, and the values in terms of some of the like fat soluble vitamins is very little. Even B vitamins, you don't lose a lot. So you're eating more. So in some cases, you may even get more than what somebody on a raw diet would actually consume, because they can't consume enough. They get too much satiety.
Yep.
And also, and the reason why they get too much satiety is for one simple reason. When it's not cooked, it's harder to digest. It takes longer in the stomach to break down.
Yeah.
That means it remains in the stomach longer.
Yep.
That is why we need to basically cook most of our foods, for the simple reason of being able to consume more and digest quicker. So to be able to take in more, to furnish our bodies. That's the advantage. That is why our brains grew bigger, our bodies grew bigger out of that advantage. That is why, you know, Homo erectus 1.5 million years ago was found, even though existed about all the way back to about well over 2 million years, at about 1.5 started using fire. Guess what happened after that? A few thousand years of doing that, we started seeing bigger brains emerge, bigger bodies emerge. So without actually cooking to get more of the animal foods, we probably wouldn't see those evolutionary changes take place. And then as we came in out of the glacial period into the interglacial period, over about 20, 30, it actually, anyway, there's a lot of arguments on how many years it took, but there is a decline between what we call early Homo sapiens, which are also called Cro-Magnon man, and Homo sapiens sapiens, which is modern man, part of the Homo sapien genus, group, family. So, you know, we're all Homo sapiens, but early Homo sapiens had bigger brains, 10% bigger. They're called Cro-Magnon man. But as we actually moved into the interglacial period, the animals became thinner and also leaner generally. So there was less muscle, there was less fat on them. This is why eventually we succumbed to using plant foods to engage the Randle cycle to build up fat stores, because that's what fructose does. You know, we know that. Give any animal fructose, what do? You produce liver fat. You know, the experiments have been done in humans, in rats, in every animal you can conceive, even fish. There are fish in the Amazon that come up to eat fruit deliberately to fatten up to become bigger. Okay? So it's well-established physiology and science. It's not some woo-woo stuff. So when you do that, and your protein and fat sources are actually, you know, you've got this big, more people on the planet chasing less animals, what's going to happen? Something's going to give. What are the most expensive tissues in the body? The brain and the gut. They use most energy, because most people are not bodybuilders. Even back then, they just walked around and occasionally sprinted a bit. They weren't bodybuilders like today's people. They use a lot of energy in the muscles, but that's because lifestyle factors. But tribal people, you know, a normal human Homo sapien in a naturalistic environment, it's the gut when you're digesting, and the brain when you're using it to do things is what is going to use a lot of energy. So, you know, people are not like He-Mans. That's with anabolic steroids and with excessive amounts of specialized training and all that, which tribal people don't do. You don't see a tribal person built like jacked like a, you know, an SUV in comparison to a normal car. So we have to realize that difference. And so in that respect, something you had to give, that thing that gave was brain. So we went from Cro-Magnon man having 10% more brain to slowly, in that, as we're moving into interglacial period, shrinking by 10%. So all the gains that we made from 1.5 million years of eating more because we could cook it and all that and digest more, because it's, you know, cooking is like pre-digesting. As a consequence of that, we ended up with smaller brains because we just couldn't get enough, and there were too many humans going after too many mammoths. Get away from my bloody mammoth or I'll hit you with my stick.